Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming. You have seen, before I go into the actual message, unhappiness and life. What is unhappiness in life? Before this, I would like to speak on something. Long time we had the cassettes, and we used to record on the cassettes. In cassette, there is a magnetic strip. Is there difference between the weight of a cassette which is fully recorded and the cassette is empty? Certainly there is no difference. You record 1 hour's voice message into the cassette, but the weight of the cassette does not change. It remains the same, whether it is full or empty. And how it is recorded, it is the magnetic strip that records everything through the binary code. In computer we use the binary code 0 and 1. Everything is expressed through these two numbers, nothing else. And when you have to re-record on that, the process happens simultaneously. It's not that you have to erase it first and then you record it. If there is a distortion in the cassette, then it may happen that the old will not be erased and new will be recorded. So it's overlapping. This is what happens with each one of us. There is something technically becomes wrong, which is corrected. And how does it correct? It corrects through the process of meditation and awareness. So in the cassette, if there is a flaw in the inner mechanism, the process of erasing from the magnetic strip does not happen before the new message is recorded. Each one of us has an overlapping. Now, when we look at the hard drive, we changed from the cassettes regime, cassette era, to CDs, CDs to hard drives. This similar is the situation with the hard drive. The weight of an empty hard drive and that which is full or which is half full remains the same. It doesn't change at all. So where does all this message is recorded and which is weightless? When Hindus say Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Master is the cassette or the hard drive which is full, and disciple is the one whose hard drive, cassette, nothing is written, or whatever is written, that has to be erased and the whole script has to be rewritten. So weight-wise there is no difference. The difference is only of understanding. Isn't it so? The difference is only of understanding. And this is the whole process of spiritual development. Nothing is written and everything is written but the weight remains the same. The difference of the two is that of awareness. Nothing changes physically, weight-wise or otherwise. What really changes is the understanding. In the same way, unhappiness and happiness. And when we look into the spiritual life, there is only two things: light and shadow, nothing else. Light and shadow. There are no colors. All colors are the aspect of perception. When you are happy, mood changes. When you are unhappy, the mood changes. But everything is expressed just as in the computer technology, everything is expressed in binary language, code 0 and 1. It is through the permutation and combination of 0 and 1 that the words are written, the messages are given, images are formed. In the same way, in spiritual life, there is only thing light and shadow. There is no black, there is no white, there is no red. These are all perceptions of the human mind. Perceptions of the human mind. Existence consists of only light and shadow. Just as binary language consists of 0 and 1, spiritual life consists of light and shadow, not darkness. Light and darkness is absence, is the shadow of light. These two things continue. If we understand this, our journey becomes a lot easier. Firstly, what is the difference when I say there is no difference between you and I? You carry the seed. The seed has blossomed in an awakened one, but in you is still waiting to be blossomed, to be cared for. Now come to the topic, come to this session, unhappiness and life. Unhappiness, what is unhappiness? Unhappiness is the incapability to understand life. When you are not able to understand the phenomena that we call life, the outcome is unhappiness. It is lack of intelligence that creates unhappiness. Lack of intelligence, remember, that creates unhappiness. One who is incapable of use his intelligence remains always unhappy. Someone asked, what is tension? Tension is the improper use of your intelligence. Either you are using it improperly or you do not know how to use your intelligence. The outcome is tension. And we feel very proud. Oh, I have a lot of tension. That person gives me tension. I just remain quiet. If I tell you that you are non-intelligent, wisely I am using the word non-intelligent instead of using the oft-used word that you like to use for this situation. No, let it be a positive assertion. Lack of proper use of intelligence. And and then in that, what he is trying to do, he is now trying to save his ego. He does not know how to use his intelligence, so he is making every effort to save his ego. And you remember the story of the fox when she could not get the grapes. She declared the grapes are sour. Without tasting it, she declares that the grapes are sour. This is the outcome of ego. Everyone is capable of being unhappy, but happiness is very, very rare. Talent is needed, intelligence is needed, awareness is needed. Not only intellect, intelligence is needed to be happy. And if you know the art of being happy, there is nothing better. This is within your grip. Only rarely does a Buddha, a Krishna become happy. And it seems almost impossible to be happy. You want to be happy for this reason or that reason. But a Buddha is happy for no reason. He has breathed, the sun has risen. He is happy for that. Not that he has gained anything. Have you seen a child? Why is the child happy? He has not won any laurels. He has not been given credentials from the university. He has not won any lottery. He is unemployed. He has no job. He cannot even stand up and walk. He cannot even talk properly. And yet still he is happy. He knows the art of being happy every moment. But as we continue to grow, we forget the art of being happy. But the difference between the happiness of a child and that of an awakened one is that of awareness. The child is unconscious of his happiness. Why is he happy? He doesn't know. But the awakened one knows that he is happy for no reason. The child is also happy for no reason. The awakened one is also happy for no reason, but he knows. It is almost impossible to be happy. And happiness is a choice. My grandmother, Sufi Shakuntala Devi, whenever anyone will bow down to her, she used to say, be always happy. She used to say, of course, in Hindi, Sada Sukhi Raho. So I used to wonder what kind of blessing is this. Like, you meet the people, they say, God bless you, as if you are the custodian of God or the secretary of God, that you can say on behalf of God, God bless you, and you are blessed. Either you say that you are already blessed, be aware of it. Be aware of the blessings. Be aware that how blessed you are. She always used to say that. So I never bothered. But then one day as I grew up, I recalled why she used to say that, be always happy. Happiness is a choice. Either you can be happy or you can be unhappy. And in every circumstance and situation, we choose to remain unhappy. And this becomes part of our life. Choose unhappiness. It is your choice. You can be happy this very moment. You can be unhappy this very moment. You have to choose what you like to choose. And she is infusing a system in you. Under every circumstance and situation, choose to remain happy. And the moment you choose to be happy, something begins to change deep within you. Just making it a choice. If you cannot do that all the time, in the beginning you can say that just as we religiously follow our rituals, the Muslims follow the 5-time namaz, they do not want to miss. Why can't we make a 5-time being happy for the day, or 3 times, or morning and evening. When we are saying our morning prayers, instead of saying the prayers and mantras and all that mechanically, choose to be happy in that moment when you wake up. Choose to be happy in the moment when it is the dusk. The day is coming to an end. The dusk is there. Sandhya Kal. The one is leaving, the other is coming. It is when the consciousness is changing the gear. It is not the day completely and the night has not fallen. It is Jhurmut. A little darkness, the sky is grey. That moment I decide whatsoever happens in that moment, I accept it totally. I will remain happy in that moment. Then slowly and slowly you develop a habit. Slowly and slowly it forms a habit that every moment whatsoever is happening, you have chosen to be happy. And when you have chosen to be happy, much more happens. Each moment life presents situations, circumstances to be happy or unhappy. And under all circumstances, you choose to be unhappy. You go on repeating the same thing. I asked you to do this thing, but you didn't do it. So can we reverse the time? If you can reverse the time, I can correct it. But now is the opportunity I can correct it. Under all circumstances, you choose to be unhappy. You choose unhappiness because you have failed to understand the life. You have failed to understand life and its phenomena. So let us try to understand what unhappiness is. Unhappiness is incapacity to understand life. Why is the birth given to us? Why is this happening in our lives? Instead of asking all these questions, if you start choosing to be happy in that very moment, then life begins to unfold itself in myriad ways. It is the incapacity to understand oneself because you are life. Indeed, it is incapacity to create a harmony between you and the existence. And the moment you start falling in harmony with the existence, all the forces of the existence come to support you from all around. It happened. Once someone asked, how much would you miss me after I am gone? He took a bucket of water, make a fist of his palm, push his hand into the water and pull out. There was a hole. How long does that hole to fill? No time. Instantaneously, it is filled. Its surface is again as if that there was never ever a hole. Indeed, it is incapacity to create a harmony between you and existence that causes unhappiness. Unhappiness arises because of a discord between you and the reality. What is the reality? The dance of life around you, the world, is the world, Jagat, is Shakti. And in between, the one who is aware, who is eternal, never born, never dies, he is Shiva. And the dance around him is that of Shakti. Unhappiness arises because of discord between your eternal form and the energy that flows around you. Something is in conflict between you and existence, and this inner conflict creates unhappiness. The moment this conflict is over, there is no unhappiness between. Life becomes a blessings. It becomes a fulfillment. Happiness arises when nothing is in conflict. Buddha has nothing, yet still there is happiness, a fulfillment. There is harmony between him and the existence. The moment there is harmony within, without harmony within, emotions play a devil's role. Without harmony within, emotions play a devil's role. To such a being is denied harmony's peaceful existence. To such a person is denied harmony's peaceful existence. There is a power within that knows beyond our knowings. We don't trust that. There is a power within that knows beyond our knowings. We are not aliens, nor as strangers join. We are bound to each other by a causeless force, That force is causeless. There is no cause behind it. The moment there is harmony between you and existence, you are together with existence. There is happiness. When there is harmony, everything is flowing without any conflict, is smooth and relaxed. You are happy. The outcome is happiness. Happiness is possible only with great understanding. If there is lack of understanding, you can never be happy. Such understanding is like the peak of Himalayas, the snow-capped mountains. You are capable of being unhappy any moment, but you have to develop the habit of being happy in a moment. This is how the whole world is unhappy, because you are capable of being unhappy under every circumstance and situation. That is how the world is in misery, is unhappy. To be happy, you have to create such an understanding about you and existence in which you exist, the existence that you exist. Then suddenly everything falls in line, in deep accord, in rhythm. The entire orchestra is tuned in. First, your own orchestra, the human body, is nothing else but an orchestra. We have 7 centers. These symbolize the 7 musical instruments. The lower, the Muladhara, the earth center and the water center. They are the percussion instruments. In mother's womb, there is a continuous sound. It is said that it is the sound of the heartbeat. Do. This sound is that of a percussion instrument. Then comes the bellow instrument. Bellow instrument like harmonium. Then the other paddle-operated bellow instruments. In that, the movement becomes the bellow. Is like this. This is the movement of the solar plexus. It is the solar plexus that you were once connected through the umbilical cord to mother's womb, and you were getting the nourishment. Now it is a time that umbilical cord is cut off. You are cut off from mother's womb. The entire effort of meditation is once again to connect to the cosmic womb, to create that cosmic and bridge. And the breathing bridges you with the existence, with the cosmic womb once again. And you have to develop that consciously through the breathing techniques. This is bellow instrument. Then comes the wind instrument. Wind instrument, clarinet, flute, ney. These are the wind instruments. A hole is made and the air is infused into it by manipulating the 7 holes. Various sounds, rhythms are created. Then comes the stringed instruments. Your throat center and the third eye center represents the stringed instruments like sitar, violin, those. Tanpura. Tanpura is to connect the single stringed instruments. In sitar, there are main strings, and right on top there are 7 small strings. They have a great significance. When the sitar player is ecstatic, all of a sudden it vibrates those small strings to create a different mood altogether. And these are your body is the musical orchestra, but the orchestra is not tuned in. So when any concert is to begin, now a spiritual process is the beginning of a concert where you have to play your music, the vocalist will sing. So you are the musician and you are the vocalist also. Whatsoever happens through you is a combination of vocal and instrument. So just as in an orchestra, everything is tuned in to the bellow instrument. Bellow instrument, which is harmonium in Indian music, is always tuned in. It doesn't need to be tuned. I have never seen anyone tuning in harmonium, but either you tune your instruments, your orchestra, with the single stringed instrument, single string universe. Why not with 7 stringed instruments? Why not? I wondered why we don't tune in with violin. Why do we tune in with tanpura? It's a single instrument. It is reflection that life has to be tuned in with one only, one that exists, one that remains unchanged. And bellow instrument represents that. Your percussion instrument, the man, the tabla player, hits here, hits there, hits up, hits down, all kind of things he does. Then he puts his ears close to the instrument and listens to it, the fine tuning. And also in between, as he is playing, that he has to adjust it time to time. Then the flute, the ney, the wind instruments are to be tuned in with the bellow instrument. Then the stringed instruments have to be tuned in with that. All these instruments are to be tuned in with the bellow instruments in life. As you are continuing the spiritual process, Everything has to be tuned in with your solar plexus, which is the center, solar plexus. Breathing connects you. In Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, Shiva gives 112 techniques of meditation, and all of these are techniques of breathing. Instead of telling something, Shiva gives a technique and says, do this and you will know. Devi, the consort, she sits in a very loving gesture on the lap of Shiva with her head bent towards. She's sitting on the lap. Shiva's head is high. She has to bend down and look upward to look at the face of Shiva. And in that loving gesture, she asks many questions. What is this wonderful universe? What is thy reality? What is the reality of Shiva? I'll explain to you another time. And in response to each question, Shiva gives a technique of meditation. How does the breathing begins? The breathing, the door through which the air enters is your nostrils, the left and the right. The air is outside. It has not gone in. It touches the nostrils. When it touches the nostril, it says, be aware of it. Then slowly and slowly it starts descending in you. Be aware. Then it reaches the solar plexus. Descent has completed. It pauses for a moment. Be aware of that pause. It is a fraction of a second. Then the breathing, which was going downwards, pauses, takes a turn, it turns. Be aware of that thing. Then it begins the upward movement, ascent. Be aware of them. And then it reaches the nostril, and from there it comes out. So breathing connects the two centers, the center outside, which is the cosmic center, and center within you, your center within. It bridges the two. And in bridging the two, it becomes the umbilical cord. You are connected to the cosmic womb once again. The life begins to be in harmony. And between you and your energy and that of the existence that surrounds you, a dance happens. This dance is the dance of Shakti that surrounds the feminine energy, that is the dance that we see around Shiva, that we call the world, the Jagat. Shiva, Shashwat is eternal, formless. But around him there is a dance, and the dance is the dance of the world, the dance of Shakti, Prakriti. It surrounds you when a dance happens and you start moving in step with life. Happiness is when you disappear, you are no more. There is utter silence. And the happiness is the fragrance of that silence, is the fragrance of that dissolution, is the fragrance of that fana. The water drop has merged into the ocean. It no more exists as a drop. the unhappiness, the agony, the pain, the suffering remains as long as you remain a drop. The drop, before it merges with the ocean, it is turbulent. It is afraid. It does not know what will happen. Whether I will exist as a drop or not. Many kind of question comes. If I can relate the biography of, it is biography, not autobiography, biography of the drop, just before it merges. Someone should write a composition, a drop, the biography of the drop as it travels through the various vicissitudes of life, through plateau, through this land here, turbulent, lost its way, went hayward, moved this way or that way. Instead of going in the straight, you went into the circles, and then finally comes in the stream and passing through the woods. And in that process, wherever it passes, it nourishes and nurtures everything. Although it is turbulent, but its nature is to nourish each and everything that comes in its way. Somewhere it creates a chaos, somewhere it creates a cosmos and continues its journey, and finally it reaches. Now is the moment of merger. I'll no more be a drop. Great turbulence arises. It takes a back. No, I do not want to merge into the ocean because I will not be there anymore. Then something deep within forces it to merge, merges, loses its identity, is no more identified as a drop. This is called fana, dissolution, the first drop, to which Kabir says, Herat Herat Sakhi, Bunda Samani Samundame. The drop has merged into the ocean, and you remain that for 30 years, just on the one shore. But a river of life does not flow. It has to, river flows within a bank. There are two banks, the left and the right bank. In between there is a river bed, and the water that flows on that river bed constitutes the river. River is not a stationary, it is a continuous flow. Life is not a stationary, it is a continuous flow between the two banks. Two banks. Happiness and unhappiness. These are the two banks. And between them flows the river of life. For unhappiness, your ego has to be there. You are the discord. Your absence will create the accord. Sometimes you have the fleeting glimpses of happiness, as if the train is moving as a high pace, and you see everything receding, the trees, the plains. You can get a clear view of this as you are traveling in the train and you look through the window. The train is moving at a pace and everything is receding. पीछे छूटती जा रही है, receding. It happens when by some accident you are not there. Look at nature, or look at the stars, or holding the hand of your beloved, or making love in certain moments. You lose your identity, you are not there. If you are there, then there will be no happiness. The bliss happens when you are not there. You can choose any act. In love making, you are not there, the bliss happens. If you are making love to your beloved, and it is really as you express it, a making, then there will be no happiness. Love cannot be made in any way. You can be it or not be it. But there is no way to make love. The English expression is ugly. To make love is absurd. It cannot happen. How can you make love? The maker, if the maker is there, the doer is there, the technician goes on existing, and if you are following some technique from this one or that one, or from Vatsayan or some other source, you are not lost into it. Happiness will not happen. When you are lost, you don't know what you are doing. You do not know what you are doing. You are possessed by the whole, the existence, the energy has possessed you. The part does not exist separate from the whole. And in that moment, the orgasmic experience happens. And that orgasmic experience is happiness. Orgasmic experience of oneness with existence, oneness with all your musical instruments. There is a rhythm. That orgasmic experience of an orchestra is music. For happiness, you need tremendous intelligence. And in the act of love-making, we feel very happy when we go on making the different words. Why can't we make love silently? Not make love. Why can't be in that act of love, silently, meditatively, no sound, just feeling what is happening within me. And whatsoever is happening within me, imbibing that. Let it flow within in all your systems. That is a totally different kind of experience. That is so fulfilling that there is nothing more fulfillment, nothing more beautiful than that. Try it that way. For happiness, you will need, this is why it needs tremendous understanding. But our understanding is, if we do not use the words, if we do not create the sounds, we feel that nothing is happening. Intellect you can get from the books. Intellect you can get from the universities. Intellect is transferable. It is technical. It is of the biocomputer, and you can call it mind. Intelligence is not of the mind, it is of beyond the mind. Intelligence is of no mind, and Zen people call that a state when intelligence flows through you as no mind. Intelligence has nothing to do with information. A child is intelligent. The older people, they are so intelligent. They are not intellect. They are not learned. They are not educated. They have no university degrees, yet is still their insights into life are so precious that whenever we are in a state of turmoil or disturbance or any trouble, we go and ask the suggestions from the older people who have no university degrees. Intelligence has nothing to do with information, knowledge. It has only one element. Intelligence is the fragrance of awareness. Intelligence is the fragrance of awareness. When awareness is processed, it goes through the process. The perfume that comes out of it is intelligence. If you are intelligent, then your life will be a blessing. It will be happiness. Your life will move in a totally different dimension. To say that dimension is utterly wrong. It is dimensionless dimension. Dimensions beyond the known. But why is intelligence needed? Indeed, intelligence is needed because life itself is meaningless. Life itself is meaningless. Meaning is not something sitting there. It is not the meaning there. Just as when you take certain ingredients to go and create something, a dish, there is no taste in it as yet. Taste you infuse into it. Your culinary skills, your intelligence, the taste, the capacity to blend the flavors. It is a dance. It is a dance of ecstasy from within, and a total understanding how to infuse the flavors into it. How much bitterness, how much salt, how much this, how much that is to be infused into it. And then when you create something, you create a dish. This is how you create the life around you. Meaning is not something sitting there and you just reach and grasp it. No, meaning has to be created. Just meaning, in life we call it meaning, in food we call it taste. T-A-S-T-E. You have to create that taste. And this is the great art of culinary. If you can learn the art of creating taste into something, you are a great chef. If you learn the art of creating taste into your life, a meaning into your life, you are a master. You are the awakened one. People constantly inquire what is the meaning of life, as if life has some meaning in it. Life has no meaning. And that itself is the beauty of life, that it has no meaning in it. That is why it is freedom. You are free to create your own meaning. You can take a particular vegetable and you can create many different tastes into it. It all depends on your versatility. The same ingredient, same vegetable you can cook with many different tastes. You can use it in many different dishes. And that is your imagination, your understanding of the ingredients. You know this particular ingredients, if it is blended with this, what will happen, whether it will. So you do not want to do the guess or anything. It is your certitude, it is your understanding, it is your intelligence that by fusing the two, you are going to create a new taste. And that taste is a new dish. A master chef creates a dish. A master musician creates a different kind of interludes. By mixing the interludes, he creates a musical harmony. He creates a master musician. You hear Dr. Zakir Hussain play tabla. With that, he creates any kind of sound. The sound of the child running, the sound of the horse moving, the waterfall, or anything he creates. The same way the master chef creates so many tastes, and then you say that his food tastes really good. But why don't you learn the art of being that? Be in harmony with yourself, so you know how to blend this and that, how much sex has to be blended into it, how much love has to be blended into it. And when you blend everything, life becomes meaningful. People constantly inquire what is the meaning of life, as if life has meaning in it. Life has no meaning, and that is the beauty of life. That is what is freedom. And you are free to create your own meaning, and I am free to create my own meaning. Two people creating the dishes with the same ingredients can create this different dishes, different tastes. I can create different dishes with the same item. Life has a meaning then. We will all, if life had a meaning, then we would have been just slaves, and that meaning will not be worth anything. Life indeed is freedom. It does not impose any meaning on you. You have to create the meaning in life. It simply gives you an opportunity to create your own meaning. The okra vegetable, for instance, is neutral. You can mold it in any way. You can cut it in any way. And the way you cut it, it gives you a different kind of a taste. Just cutting the vegetable differently gives a different meaning, a very different meaning. You simply give it an opportunity. Life simply gives you an opportunity to create your own meaning. The meaning has to be created. It is not a thing that you have to uncover. It is not a thing that you have to uncover. Instead, you have to become your meaning. And you have to give rebirth to yourself. It requires tremendous intelligence. Only when you feel meaning in life, you will be happy, not before. Life has no meaning in itself. You have to bring the meaning into life. You have, just as you have to bring the taste into the okra that you are cooking by adding different spices, techniques, what can be infused into it that will blend with it very well. There are certain things that blends very well, certain spices, certain combination of spices. Life is just essential ingredient. You have to create your own meaning out of it. You have to create your own God. God is not there waiting for you. You have to create it within your heart, within your innermost core of the being. Only then you will be happy. To create meaning, you have to be creator. Painters paint and thus create a painting. Poet writes and thus create a poetry. A dancer creates a dance. However, these are just fragments. A religious person creates himself. A religious person does not mean you go and become the Muslim or a Hindu or Christian. You have to create yourself. Indeed, the religious person is the greatest artist. All other artists are just finding substitutes, and one day or the other they will become frustrated. You have written many poems, then one day you realize what is the point. Why go on writing? You have painted and one day you suddenly realize that what is the point in that? For whom all these paintings are created. One day you will die and these will remain and disappear. So what is the point of all these creations? The day you have created your soul, you have created yourself. journey comes to an end. And this end of the journey, when you have created yourself, is enlightenment. The experience of immortality is happiness, that you are Shiva, and a dance happens around you. You are eternal, unborn. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Eternal, unborn, and manifest. Never born, never died. Is my form. It is eternal. And around that a dance happens, that is the world. The experience of immortality is happiness. Unless you feel a point of immortality in whatsoever you are doing, you cannot be happy. Certainly the point of immortality is felt only when you create immortality within yourself. Gurdjieff was right to say that man is not born with soul. All other religions say that man is born with a soul. Gurdjieff is the only one who said that man is not born with the soul. A seed, whatsoever Gurdjieff is saying is tremendously significant, that man is not born with a soul. You will remain empty and you will die empty. You have to create the meaning in life. And for this, great intelligence is needed. You have to create the meaning in your life. To be intelligence is an arduous process. It needs tremendous effort on your part. You have to destroy all the rubbish that is within you that you have been carrying. You have to create almost a fire of consciousness so that all that is useless is burned and only that which is pure gold, all the impurities of the gold are burned in that anvil. Very few people are capable of doing that. You have to do that. You have to ready to go through this hardship. This is the discipline which creates intelligence. People want shortcuts. However, man always tries to save his ego. It is insanity to say happiness is not being smart enough to know how to worry about. Does it mean that to be happy one have to be ignorant and stupid? If that be the case, then a Buddha is stupid. So is Jesus. And people who are in the madhouse are the only intelligent people in the world. I have heard. A man went to his psychiatrist about his problem. He explained to the psychiatrist that every night he was visited by a 10-foot monster with 2 heads, and he was suffering tremendously. He cannot sleep whole night. He was becoming more and more miserable, and any day he could collapse. He had even thought about committing suicide. Well, I think I might be able to cure you, said the psychiatrist. But I am afraid it will be a lengthy process and it will cost you $300. $300, murmured the man. Forget it then. I will go home and make friends with the monster. This is the situation of each one of us. This is how to be intelligent is so difficult if it costs so much. You have to put all that you have at stake. It is like a cross. In fact, you have to die to be intelligent, because Only when you are reborn, you are intelligent. That's why all the religions have said that you are to be reborn. And to be initiated is the process of the beginning, that you are taken a new birth. Only when you are reborn, you will be intelligent, not before that. And you have to carry the cross on your shoulders. Nobody else can carry that cross. Many a times you will stumble on the road. Many times you will feel so tired and exhausted that you have to rest. Many times you think that people who have never desired intelligence, awareness, are blessed. When I have chosen, many times doubt and suspicion will arise in your mind. You will wonder if is there any goal, or I am simply carrying a cross and wasting my time. Many times you would like to go back to the world, and many temptations are there. These are mentioned in Bible as the Satan comes. Intelligence is almost like a seed. The seed cannot know what is going to happen next moment. The seed has never known flower. The seed has never known flower. And the seed cannot even believe that it has the capacity to become a flower. The potentiality to become a beautiful flower. Long is the journey, and it is always safer not to go on that journey, because unknown is the path, and nothing is guaranteed. Nothing can be guaranteed. 1,001 hazards are there along the way. So many are the pitfalls, and the seed is secured, hidden inside the heart core. But the seed tries. It makes an effort. One day it drops the hard shell, which was its security. It starts moving. Immediately fight starts. The struggle with the soil, the stones, the rock begins. And the seed was very hard, and the sprout that comes out of that is very tender, soft, surrounded by many dangers. There was no danger as far as the seed was concerned. The seed could have survived for long, but for the sprout, many are the dangers. Still a sprout starts the journey towards the unknown, towards the sun, and towards the source of light. We have to learn from the sprout. It begins its journey towards the unknown, towards the sun, source of light, not knowing where and why. Great indeed is the cross to be carried, but a dream possesses the seed, and the seed moves. And there is much competition. Many trees are there, other plants too. And he has to cross all of them, because only then he will reach the light of the sun that is essential for its growth. The trees that are the forests, the places that are dense, the trees tend to grow taller as compared to those which are scanty, where trees grow in volume. And then no one knows. But one day it flowers and it happens. The same is the path for man. It is arduous. Much courage is needed. It takes time. It is not, heaven is not possible unless you create it. Unless you carry it within yourself, you cannot find it anywhere. It is mentioned in all the religious books of the world that saints go to heaven. But it is half a statement. They go to heaven because they live in heaven. They go to heaven because they have created their heaven. In fact, to be in heaven, you will have to have the heaven within you. Certainly there is no other way. Intelligence implies you create your own heaven and you create your own happiness. Otherwise there is none. If you create it, you have it. It is just like breathing. If you breathe, you are alive. If you do not breathe, you are not alive. If you create happiness, you are happy. If you do not create happiness, you will not be happy. Unhappiness needs no creativity on your part. Unhappiness is a negative state. No negative state needs to be created. When you look at it, the food that is putrefied, have you wondered where the worms come from? They are born within the food and they consume and transform it into something different. No negative state needs to be created. No worms need to be created, or you have to add to the food that is putrefied. Happiness is not negative. It is a positive state. Therefore, it has to be created. Absence can be there, but presence has to be created. And this is the spiritual process. You have to carry your own, you have to create the happiness within, you have to create the meaning in life. Only then you can be happy. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, take care and do have a pleasant day.